Hive cities, gargantuan megalopolis built on powerful foundations, made by humanity in a bygone past. Spire upon spire, building upon building, aero platforms and elevated highways wherever the eye can see. Well, for today's project, we are gonna build just that, a platform for spaceships that serves also as foundations to place heavy buildings or shanty towns on, or obviously vehicles on top of it. And I'm gonna do all of this project with simple materials such as garbage, useless plastic scraps, broken toys, without any kind of fancy tool or resources. Maybe just some paint. And that is all. Let's build it. For the base I have used this plastic thing. This plastic thing comes from this plastic toy truck, which is dead and broken. We have to also make pillars, so we need Lego Duplo. Build the Lego Duplo to look like a pillar. Make 4. Perfect, we have to admire our work. We have to break it. Okay, slot 1, semi-automatic pistol. Nope, slot 2, banana. Yes. You have to banana this guy with a hot glue gun piece by piece. It could look tedious. It is, but once you have done this, you're gonna have semi-indestructible kind of things, which is what you want as pillar for this platform. You have to do it 4 times, because you need, at least for now, 4 pillars. Like this, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and it's perfect. And also, keep by your side a miniature to check the size. I guess this guy's size that he likes it. Part 2. Gluing stuff. Okay, which are those things? These are blast shields, which came from this thing, which is a printer, which is gonna be hooded. So okay, now you should have 2 of these guys. These long guys. Use your super speed to sand these guys. Now you should have a lot of white dust, which is not the objective of doing this. It just was to remove the bad parts, make it more flat. But if you want to remove the white dust, the best way possible is this one. It just works. Next, you should have 4 of these blast shields. Use your scissor to cut them in half and then have 4, and now use pens to make these cool kind of hinges. Hippity hoppity. And now you have 4 kind of things that can work aesthetically, not in real life, as a hinge to indicate movement. Now let it to rest, to dry a bit, and now you can use white powder of the kitchen to make this cure and dry faster. Now glue it on the sides of the platform and then you have it. Perfect. Part 3. Making stuff, just like Bill. Okay, build these tanks using camera rolls from things it's archaeotech of the 90s basically. Then use this car relay, also archaeotech of the 90s and 70s and 60s, and make a little house or hut or whatever it is. Then use the SARS-CoV test or COVID test to make a futuristic door. I like it. Okay, sand it. And now it's time to cut the corners, because everything in space has the corners cutted and looks like a hex or octagon or whatever. Perfect. Now it's time to glue it. Okay, done. Tap it gently, and now we have to make a roof. Just cut the corners to make it futuristic again. Glue the other part of the SARS-CoV, and now do this platform. This platform is essential because that little HUD control tower is gonna be on this platform. Put more things. Perfect. Put other thing there. Perfect. Just like that. And now let's do magic and glue this Lego fake thing there. And now these things which I'm doing are for railing. Hide the thing. Put the thing there. Make a hole with a heated thing. Perfect. Again. Okay, now is when we put the plastic things on the railing. Like that. Add glue gently, just a small ball of glue as you can see. And put it there. Use your regular guide to see. Use the thing to make another thing. I do not know what I'm talking about. Ah yes, of course, this is an antenna. Okay, perfect. Now use this screw from a pen and these fake Lego things to make detail. And now we have a perfect antenna. Glue it there. Perfect. This is a thing which I do not know what it is, but this came from an inhalator because as any kind of nerd, I needed one in the past. Okay. And make a hole. Make wire thing. Put the thing. Now we have a parabolic. Put the other things off there. Now we have a perfect platform with things to connect. And this is a pillar made with fake Lego Duplo. Use this clock. Use the things. Now we have a hatch. Put the thing in the center. Glue it. Put more things on the side. Perfect. Part 4. Sparkle. Okay, we call this thing here in my country as Agua Plus, and it smells nicely. I wonder how it tastes. That was not a good idea, definitely. Okay, just fill the voids with it and use the rest to create nice texture that will look in the end as concrete. Steeple here, steeple there, and then we have it. Just we have to sand. Nice, we have break it. Now with these two things, white PVA glue and putty, we can create this texture, which looks more convincing as concrete and also will reinforce our previous step. It's basically gonna mix between them and create a stronger bond. Just have to cover everything and staple everything, and now let's glue the tanks. One here, one there. Perfect. Now we have this, we can create detail like this engine. Glue it there. And it's perfect. Now here, a toy engine. Like that. Okay, let's create a turbine just like that. Now let's glue this car wash toy thing here as a kind of thing to signal something. This is another inhalator because I was a nerd and it's part of the cosplay. Let's glue it here. Nice. Okay, use this fluorescent marker, use that part, glue that part, glue then the other part, and then apply the two there. I like how they look. Now this is a radiator from a toy car. Glue it there. It's the access point for this fuel deposit kind of thing. Now apply glue to this sphere which was glued to a wheel toy. Apply glue to this clock, important to pronunciate like that. And now remove their excess. We have to create an access point for the house because if not the guy cannot get inside his little house. Now let's create stairs with this part which came from a female hair dryer, I guess. Yep. Remove parts and just let the center pass for you, and we have a perfect stair. Perfect. Now you can give a like if you like, or use this part for creating a kind of protective shield or device to protect the stair. Now glue this lantern part to that part and glue it there. This is basically more random detail. Another deposit. This is a cable which is gonna be there. This is another cable which came from a pod racer toy. And this is the device I told you later, which I do not remember the name now. Now it's time to glue the stairs. Because it was not long enough, use excess. Now this part is not as large or bigger as the other, so it's gonna look like a folded stair. It will help us in the future to create more random details also. This is a kind of electronic device, which I like how it looks. And this is the turbine I told you later. And then glue the thing on the side of the pillar. Okay, perfect. And now it's time to make welding seams using this plastic putty from greenstuff. You need a toothpick, a wet toothpick in oil or water. Then you make this indentation and it like real torching. Actually, torching and welding is a world. There is a lot of different types of welding and torching, and this was my actual reference, Soviet welding of T-34s. Immediately made, extremely fast, so it looks thick. Also, with the excess of green stuff, you can make something cool like this helmet or hoodie from the anti-radiation suit of Fallout 3 and New Vegas. The actual body was a German officer, World War II, but the helmet was the other thing. You can make also backpacks, the shank of this guy, hair, or this cool green stuff gas mask, for which I take reference on the 50s era Chinese horse gas mask, not that one, not this one, we are talking about now. Part 5. Filling holes. We can use putty. In my case I'm gonna use millet pot. Why? Because millet pot dries rock hard, while green stuff or putty dries more elastically, like gum, wool or plastic, some kind of thing like the such ones. Okay, the thing is, for filling holes we need rock hardness, not elastic things. And if I do not use millet pot here, I gonna not use it ever. I'm gonna use it for this little platform, and for the big one, the hinges should be filled with something, not a void. Also, the fuel deposit should have, and this tank. Now it's time to glue the little platform to the big one. Create some indentation there to create little interesting detail, and create a hatch, because the ladder should connect with a hatch. Now we create this thing, we break it, and we have to glue it. Then we will create hinges using green stuff. And now it's time to sand everything quite well, because the next step is gonna be priming. We need this to allow the paint to dry well. Also, we're gonna create detail, lights, actual light. This is a candle light, so we have to put these. Also, we have to glue magnets, and now we can remove or put the candle as much as we want to remove the battery. Also, little details like this cable, these little electric cables, this broken Gatling, this radio control broken cable also. And the most important, fast string. And our little guys like it. Part 6. Priming. Well, this part consists only in priming using brown spray, like this one, that's all. But this part is important. This is Vallejo masking fluid. I have used this one to create these things here and there. It's important to people everything with this mask, because later we will remove this and it will reveal the brown as kind of patches of rust. Now I'm priming with red. Part 7. Painting details. As you can see, I have used Citadel and also cheap acrylic paints, Bismarck ones. The good point of the Bismarck cheap ones is the fact that they dry bad. Let's say they dry bad. So we have a lot of residue and thing that is not as, we can say, covering as the Citadel ones, which for us in this project work as a dime. It is free weathering. But I have to advise you, now we're gonna use rust from Vallejo. If you make a really aqueous kind of mixing, the good part is the fact that it's gonna rust like, well, rust color. This is basically to make the concrete, and the blue was made for making a different color for the blast shield, nothing more interesting than that. Just that. Now I'm gonna sponge everything. You cannot see it, but I have sponged with red and now with neon orange, because this is for creating variation like the sun have the colorize the paint of the structure. I'm checking also the Vallejo masking fluid, it works, and now I'm gonna use French blue for sponging the blast shields, which they are gonna look like this, a bit horrible, but trust the process. This is just the beginning of this part. Now let's create a circle. We need obviously a triangular shape like this one. Perfect triangle. Now we have to create a number to make it more interesting. I'm gonna create a stencil out of paper. This will teach you how you could create stencils with paper. This is a simple one, 02. Now we have to glue it. I can use airbrush, but I prefer sponge. First of all, maybe you do not have an airbrush, and second, we have this free weathering effect. After removing the paper, we have a perfect 02. Do the same with these three and these other three. These are metal stencils. Paint black the big cables, red the smaller ones of electricity, metal for the hinges, and also now we can remove the Vallejo masking fluid and check how it looks. Perfect! Nice! Decals. The decals are one of the easier parts. These came from an M48 pattern. This came from a pattern model kit. This came from a pattern model kit. But this came from a Vietnam APC, and this came from Space Marine shoulder pads. And now it's time to sponge everything. Rust brown color. Also we have to sponge every single tank, every single detail of the underside. Yellow with rust is a perfect combination. It looks credible enough, believable enough, and use our black wash to black wash every single piece of concrete. Now we have to dry brush the concrete with white using a makeup brush. It should end looking somewhat like this. The washing. The washing is a kind of simple part. A lot of YouTubers have done or covered this part better than me actually, and I have to mention or say only that I prefer to use oil washes nowadays than acrylic ones. The only acrylic that I use is non-oil for metallics, and the other Agrax Earthshade for leather, brown things, canvas things, etc. And that's all. For everything else I use oils, by the fact that you can clean it or dilute it with thinner, and due to the fact that oil washes have less surface tension than water or acrylic based washes, they get better into the crevices and details. And actually, thanks to that, the results is, at least to me, more convincing. So, keeping in mind the techniques are the same here in the control tower, let's speak about the lore of this platform, and by extension the hardware. Well, this platform is settled on a small outpost or village on the wasteland of planet Vestenter, which is basically my invented Necromando stand. But actually this settlement is over an artificial cliff, which was in the past a shipyard for capital ships from the dark age of technology, and suffers from recurrent floods, so it's vital that vehicles and buildings have some kind of hermetical seals, or to be expendable and cheap. Also, that makes rusting a common thing on these megastructures from the past, and even the new ones rust is common due to humidity. This platform and the visual cuts on the side were made by industrial plasma torches. It came from an elevator of an atmospheric and space carrier or flying aircraft carrier, which were commonly produced in this planet. The actual red color was the primer paint of the ship, before the usual navy blue and grey color palettes, for which this idea I take basically the World War II late German tanks, which usually they were red. For the planet itself, I take a lot of inspiration in Paul Chadeson, which is a fantastic artist in my opinion. And that's the idea. The idea is to create a vibrant, highly contrasted spacepad which looks industrial and civilian for Necromanda or similar things, but I was thinking on Necromanda, and using that as background I created my own stuff. I love the Warhammer skyshield, but it's no longer in production, and it's too militaristic to fit well on an industrial setting or city setting, so that's the reason it looks as it looks. Also, the graffiti are made to look like neon bright, as a kind of mark from each house or faction. Like for example, House Goliath maybe use this bright neon orange, while Escher use purple or the Orlogs neon blue. Just like a hound dog marking an old reliable tree. As a model, this spacepad can work also when it's stored as a kind of mini shell. When I have to store it on a shelf or something, I can use the voids of the ground floor or the surface to put other models such as miniatures, containers, shantytown houses, etc. And this will be quite relatable for the next video, in which I will make modular shantytowns, probably. I don't know, probably. And that is all. Now it's time to dry brush our yellow thing, which is gonna be an inflatable raft. According to my invented lore, this part of the planet floats a lot, so it's important to have some kind of backup plan. And that is all. And masking putty. This would allow you to hide every kind of scene and paint everything well. First a layer of pink in this case, and now purple. When we remove this, it will have some kind of volume. For blue and orange, it's first a layer of white. And it should end looking like this, quite neon. The blue is Croxigore blue. The orange is the neon orange we have used. Sometimes you will have some problems, like here in fire we have white things, but we can remove that easily, scratching them. And well, the process of painting this disorder should end in looking something like this. I love it. Now it's time to paint leakings. I'm gonna use this oil effect from me to create leakings in the places I consider that dirt will accumulate. Dirt or humidity or rain or whatever. The thing is, this is created when rain moves recesses from rust, grime or other stuff from the top to the bottom, basically. And it doesn't matter how sloppy you get in this process, because again, this is oil. Now we're gonna use thinner and it should look better. As you are seeing right now, here, here and there. Also, we have to paint other details like these red arrows or the burn effects of the blast shields. Also, we have to paint the candles, and after painting the candles, we have to Bluetooth here, here and there. And also, I have to say that my favorite one is this, which nobody can see. Sad. Part 9. End result. The overall size of this project, of this platform, is the same, well, a bit bigger, than the actual skyshield from Games Workshop. It's actually a banana and a half long and half a banana tall, roughly the same as I told you. So, I am very grateful that you stayed until the end. If you like this project, do not hesitate to leave me a like, comment or subscribe, because this is only the beginning. Also, I want to share with you a lot of things. I also have made some 3D models which have been uploaded to Cult 3D. Some of them are free, so check it out if you want. I would upload more. Thank you really much, and you are breathtaking.